Today on the Diz List, we count down the top 5 mistakes first-timers make when vacationing at Walt Disney World.
Welcome to the Diz List, the podcast that lists everything in Walt Disney World. I'm Nick.
And I'm Rob, and today we're going to talk about the top 5 mistakes that first-timers make going to Walt Disney World. So a lot of people who are listening, longtime listeners, these are things that you like to think about anyways on a regular basis. I would listen to really any theme or topic, but it's also a really good one for, we have a lot of new listeners, and this is going to be really helpful for them. And it's also a really good one to send to somebody who you know is going for the first time. So yeah, we'll get back to that a little bit later. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, or anybody, I mean, who maybe they go to Disney, but it's been a minute, or perhaps it's maybe they go to Disneyland and they don't go to Orlando. So,
right.
You know.
Well, I will start with this one. I have family in Orlando. My aunt, uncle, cousins, they live, well, north of Orlando, but that's part of why I've been going my entire life is I go down and visit my family. And I got a photo from my aunt this morning, and she sends this photo of the fountain that when you enter their town, they live in a town called Oakland. When you enter Oakland, there's like a roundabout there, and in the middle of the roundabout, there's this tiered fountain. So I showed Nick before we saw the photo, and it's all icicles. And she sends this caption. I'll read it here. The water fountain. Here's a photo of the water fountain in Oakland this morning. We had 24 degrees with a wind chill of 13 degrees, a little chilly for us thin-blooded people. It was wild. It was cold.
Yeah, I mean, we've been sitting for the last week in single digits with wind chills below zero, but like it's a little bit different for us.
Yeah.
Like we're made for it.
Yes. For us, it's par for the course here.
Can I ask a question about the fountain?
Mm-hmm.
Has anybody ever hit it with a milk truck?
I don't know. It is possible.
So for
leads
those
us
of
to
you,
a great story.
For those of you who aren't from Western New York, just look up Geneseo
Bear Fountain.
Yeah, Geneseo Fountain, and then like milk truck or something like that. I don't know. You can turn left now. They let you turn left now.
You can finally.
They finally figured out that like turning right wasn't just the issue; it's people on their phones.
So
anyway.
there's this bear fountain over in Western New York here where a lot of towns, and it's funny that I said that with my aunts, is there's a roundabout in a lot of different towns. People are used to
There's no roundabout.
No. There is just a gigantic bear fountain in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
So no roundabout, no nothing. And
yeah,
it gets hit by different types of vehicles all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's been hit a lot lately. People are on their phones. They're not paying attention.
I know.
All right. Sorry. What other news we got?
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about this one a little bit more on our Patreon show that we're going to do. But they released some information about where different things are going to be placed in Magic Kingdom. And on the Disney Dish podcast with Jim Hill, Jim had a lot of speculation about where all these different things are going to go. And one really interesting one that I will tell everybody, but again, we'll go into it more in depth on Patreon, is Jim's theory. And sometimes Jim has a theory because he knows something, and sometimes Jim just kind of understands how the Disney company works. He's right more often than he's wrong, to be fair. But again, he's speculating here. So in between the Haunted Mansion and where you go up the hill there to the Tangled Bathrooms, Jim Hill seems to think that area between is going to be opened up and used as an entrance to go back to where Villains Land is going to be. Okay. So Nick and I looked this up the other day. So at school, we put up on our big screen the map, and it looks like this area that I'm referring to between the two bathrooms, there is a place that is between the Haunted Mansion show building, which is huge, and also the Small World building is pretty large as well. So there's like a little alleyway or a tunnel that would go back. It is possible to do that, because if it is on,
it's small though.
It is very small. It would be.
I mean, it looks to be smaller than the tunnel or whatever you want to call it that goes into
Galaxy's Edge. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking of the same one. So it'd probably be a little smaller than that, I would say.
Yeah.
But we'll
I mean, it's an
discuss that a little
alleyway.
bit
Like you
further.
said, you call that an alley, it's very much an alley.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a city person, I mean, you're kind of familiar with how big an alley is going to be. You know,
Yeah.
you can get one car down an alley. You
One
can't
car,
get two.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to zoom in and really get to see how much space there is between those two buildings. But
hmm
at this point, we're kind of speculating. But
Yeah.
Jim Hill knows what he's talking about. He's been a Disney journalist for years, and usually he's on track. Not always, but usually he is. So we'll talk
Yeah.
about that more over on Patreon. But we got a big episode to do here. I don't know if we have any other news stuff that you want to mention.
I just want to mention that I watched. So last week you recommended that I watch Disneyland Handcrafted.
Oh yeah, did you end up watching it?
Yeah, I did. It was really good.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things where it's like, so we are traveling in July. So I'm looking at, okay, well, we are, let's call it 5 months away from going. And like they bring up the thing that says, oh, 5 months, 5 months till opening. And it's nothing.
There's nothing.
And I'm like, it took them 3 years to build Tron.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and here they are sitting with like, I mean, it's nothing. It's not like there's a little bit of, no, it's empty. And
there's a shot I think you're referring to where it's the person with the camera is walking down where Main Street would be, right? And then starts to turn left, walks over by Adventureland, and then veers over where you can see the entrance of Frontierland. And part of the Frontierland entrance and part of that facade is complete. You know what part I'm referring to in the movie?
Yes, I do know what part you're referring to. Yeah.
I don't know how to find this
stuff like that.
Correct. I don't know how to find this video again, but on social media last week after it came out, a person went to Disneyland and did a current video of doing that same walk. I mean, 90%. It was very, very close. They did the same walk to show where everything is currently placed. Like when it turns and goes to Frontierland, you can see that. It was very, very cool video. I wish I had it that I could put the link in the show notes, but I'll have to find it again. If anyone sees that video online and wants to send it to us, we could always repost it. That's a great one. So let us know, listeners, if you can find that video. But it was cool.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the show was, or the movie was great. I thought it was really good.
I was going to ask you, what did you think of the part? And guys, this doesn't spoil anything. They're building Disneyland. That's right. There's no spoilers here. You know, Disneyland gets built.
No.
What did you think of the part
castle
where they were goofing off and the one guy was scratching the other guy's back with the digger? Did you like that part where they were kind of having a little bit of fun?
The digger.
Yes, that's what it was. Was that funny?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I've seen my brother do it. No, I'm serious. Like,
I know, that's why I'm laughing.
Yeah, like when we were watching it, and my wife says, "Look at that! It's like your uncle." Says that to my kids, and I was like, "Yeah, well, I've seen him do that." Or like when the guy was on the flagpole and was going back and forth.
Yes, that was wild.
My son was like, "What is that?" I was like, "Oh, it's a flagpole." So why would they be up there? I'm like, all I can say is I've seen your uncle up in a tree, strapped onto it, just has a thing around his belt, leaning in, cutting off the tops of trees, and the whole thing flying back and forth. So yeah, I mean, it's not safe to do that with an excavator, but I've seen my brother do it.
Yeah,
he's a pretty good operator. He can open a bottle of beer with the tooth of a excavator. If you hold it still enough.
That's wild.
I mean, you see how herky jerky they normally are. I can't believe that guy let them do that, but yeah. The other thing that I thought was interesting was like seeing all the vehicles that clearly didn't have 4-wheel drive driving through like the mud, and they were just like swishing back and forth. It was pretty cool.
Or when the vehicle gets stuck.
Honestly, it was a great movie. So I enjoyed it.
Did you see the part towards the end where the tire gets stuck in the fresh asphalt?
in the asphalt? Yeah.
It's probably like 8 inches down.
Yeah, it was not good. All right, well, we're going to head off to the halftime show. The halftime show, of course, is brought to you by our patrons. over on patreon.com/Dizzlesspod. Over there, you can get early access to all of our episodes, as well as bonus episodes, because we record 2 episodes every single week.
Yep.
And this week, we're actually going to be talking a little bit more in depth about that whole Villains Land thing that Rob was talking about with Jim Hill and Len Testa. We're talking about on the Disney Dish. We'll talk a little bit about what our thoughts are, and a little bit more in depth about the entrances, plural, to Villains Land that are going to be coming up. But if you head over there, you can join up, and make sure you let me know what your Instagram handle is, and I'll add you to our close friends, so that way we can kind of post when we go on trips a little bit of exclusive content.
I do. I usually do double the amount in with the close friends as I do normally.
Yeah,
because I feel guilty because I post so much, and I know close friends list are like, okay, I want to see all this. So yeah, a lot of bonus content with that, and that's a lot of that's free to do too. You just send them your handle.
Yeah, just when we go to trips or whatever,
Yeah,
we're not posting a whole bunch of like behind the scenes content of me sitting and recording or you sitting and recording.
No, that's not super exciting.
Yeah, no, it's not.
What Funko Pop am I going to put on the shelf this week?
Yeah, right. All right, so we're going to have the halftime show, and we'll see you right after the break. Welcome back. All right, so this half of the show, we're going to talk about the top mistakes that people make as first timers going to Disney World. And there are, some of these mistakes we've made, some of these mistakes we have friends who've made them, but I definitely think that there are plenty of mistakes to be made. And this is not us saying, if you've done this, you're wrong, you screwed up. This is us saying, hey, we have done this, or we know people who've done this.
Correct.
Learn from us. So I don't want people to get all upset that we're maybe calling them out, because we've done this stuff. We all have. And going to Disney is not a small trip. You spend a lot of money, you get there. The worst thing you can do is like not learn from what other people are telling you. So I'm hoping that if you're listening to this and you have a friend who's going, or you're going for the first time in a long time, or the first time ever, that you take this stuff to heart. So
and look at it as a refresher course too, Nick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you've been, let's say it's been 3 or 4 years since you've been, some of this stuff you need reminders, right? Because like every once in a while, one of these things on my list is like, yep, I did that. So it's not just first timers, but first timers make these mistakes a lot. So why don't you go ahead and get us kicked off?
You have set me up perfect for a slam dunk here. Great alley-oop. I appreciate it, because the number 5 here is learning how Lightning Lane works. And the reason I'm saying this is because Lightning Lane changes constantly. It's changed names. Yeah. I will refer to it as Fast Pass when we're there. And like we all kind of laugh at each other, and it's been so many different names. Like I get confused. It's like, calling your coworker by their maiden name on accident, like. Yeah, it just happens. So Lightning Lane is constantly changing. So not only are the rules changing for Lightning Lane, the prices are changing, how it works. Mm-hmm. And some people also need to know that it isn't something that you just automatically get like it used to be. You used to be able to automatically get Fast Pass, right? You remember those days? So it's not like that anymore. So a mistake that a lot of people will make is not really understanding how the whole thing works. And this leads me to a plug for our buddies here. Ear Scouts is a YouTube station. They're friends of ours. They have a great podcast that I was on once. You're going to be on at some point soon. And we had someone from their show, Craig, came on to talk about DVC. So Ear Scouts is the best, hands down. I know you agree with me here, so I can speak for you. They are the best thing the best source for learning how Lightning Lane works. Don't you agree?
I mean, it's hard to disagree. They are, and it's not just because they're our friends. really legitimately cover it all. And the minute
Right.
that something changes, they're on top of it. So I
So
agree with you.
instead of me going through and explaining how it all works right here, do yourself a favor when our show is over, go on over to YouTube and do a search for Ear Scouts, and they will have so many. Honestly, my advice is look at which one is the newest because they do a lot of those videos, and sometimes, because like I said, things change. I know that Rob and Eric, those are the two people on Ear Scouts, they've done recent update videos. So also, if you're planning on going to Flower and Garden or Festival of the Arts, they do updated festival videos too to show you what the different food and activity options are. So my number 5 is a mistake is not learning how Lightning Lane and the app in general works. So that's my number 5. What do you have, Nick?
So my number 5 has to do with food. And it's that you don't do enough research about like what's available. So many times I hear people say, "Oh my God, Disney food, it's awful.
Yeah, it's
What'd you
just
eat?" "Oh,
burgers
we
and
went,
fries and cold
yeah,
pizza.
we had burgers and fries." It's like, what? Like, did you not recognize that you could like, and I'm not talking about people who are fast food type people. Like, and
Mhm,
that's fine if you're that kind of person. If you're a quick service kind of person in general, I'm talking about the people who are like, somebody said that there was so much good food there, and then we showed up and there wasn't. Well, if you don't do the research, if you don't get
mhm,
your reservations, yeah, you're going to be stuck at Cosmic Rays. You're
yeah,
going to be going into those places. Now, granted, you can do Satuli Canteen, great food. You can do
mhm,
Docking Bay, great
yep,
food.
yep,
But
agree.
if you're like going into Pinocchio's Village House and being like, people said people said the pizza was good. It's like, no, we're talking about Via Napoli. We're not talking about Pinocchio's Village House. Like there's plenty of places you can go. But if you don't do the research, you don't know that.
Mhm,
Or like your family, food allergies or
right,
restrictions because of dietary, maybe you're vegetarian, right?
yeah, or peanut allergy, gluten,
Right.
whatever.
So my point is like whether it's because your body can't deal with certain things because you have allergies or
Yep,
because you've chosen not to eat those things.
right,
Disney's got stuff for you.
they do.
There are really good vegan options. We were looking the other day at like Nomad Lounge and the food items, and I was like, I want to get that. I know it's on the vegan list, but man, I want that.
Yeah,
I think it was a falafel something or other. But like, you know, there's there's just so much good food out there, and if you don't do your research, you might end up at the wrong place. So I
right.
would say the number 5 thing that people do wrong is that they don't research the food enough. And
Mhm,
so they just show up thinking like, "Oh, I can walk into a restaurant." And then all of a sudden you walk up to like you're in Magic Kingdom, you walk up to Skipper Canteen and they're like, "Oh, well, yeah, you can come back in 3 hours." I was there so 2 years ago we went up to go check in for our reservation. There was a family who I'm going to make assumptions, but I believe they were not from the United States. If they were from the United States, they clearly had a communication issue with the person at the front.
mhm,
And but I believe they were probably foreigners.
mhm,
They were so confused. I don't know if the park in their country or the park in their part of the world isn't the same, but
hmm,
like, what do you mean I can't walk? It was very clear. Like I couldn't understand them necessarily because their language barrier, but like
yep,
very clear that they were like, I don't get that I can't just like tell you I want to eat now
yeah,
and you know the next 30 minutes I'll get in. It was like, no, I'll see you at dinner time. And this was at lunch. It was at Skipper Canteen.
oh, okay,
And, that particular day was busy. It was the preview day for Country Bears.
right, right,
And so I remember it being busy. And, you just never know. So you got to do your research because Disney World is not the same as Disneyland. It's not the same as Disneyland Paris. It's not the same as Hong Kong. It's not the same as Shanghai. Like, and it doesn't just go for Disney World like in the parks. It also goes for like resorts and especially over at Disney Springs because those restaurants are like legit good. I mean they are some of those restaurants are like
Michelin
they could
star
be
restaurant.
I mean they could exist somewhere else. They don't need the parks, you know what I mean? So um So yeah, not doing enough research about food is my number 5. What do you got for number 4?
My number 4 for a mistake for a first timer is underestimating the amount of walking that you're going to do. And also, side note to that, just making sure you build in rest time, because we didn't do that at first, and it was very hard on my young kids. I use the example when I was talking to you recently. I said, imagine that you're going from Remy, which is all the way at the very bottom of Epcot, right in the France Pavilion, and
Yep.
then you need to make it quickly all the way to the top, all the way to Spaceship Earth, which is at the far end of the park. I mean, you can take one of those boats to go across the water, but that is a very long walk. And you need to make sure that you understand how big these parks are and how expansive they are and where you're going. So that's an important thing too, is making sure that you understand kids are going to need to rest. You're probably going to want to rest your feet, and knowing how big a lot of these parks are, and, scaling based on what you've done at home, or go on the treadmill for a couple of days before you go, just to prepare. I don't know.
You
Even people
laugh.
that are fit. I know.
No, but you laugh, but like there are people that do that. There are people that train to go to Disney. And I will say this. Now, I know that we like will quote unquote advertise or like talk about bull airs, and like we're not sneakerheads, or I'm not anyway. Like I don't have a ton of shoes. I think you have more. I mean, I think you're a little bit more into that stuff. I can honestly tell you right now that I buy shoes once a year to go to Disney. That's because they need to be new, because you are walking 12 miles a day probably.
Yep.
It's a lot of walking. It's a lot of walking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Underestimating that is a big one. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I have a lot of pair of shoes, but we'll get back to that later. Not a crazy amount, but I like my shoes.
I know that you're a little bit more you get into that a little bit more than me.
Yes. Okay. Let's go to your number 4 now. I had to look
my
at
number
my
four.
list.
My number 4 is kind of like my number 5, but not quite, because it's the number 4 thing that people don't do is they don't research enough. And what I mean by that is not about the food, but like, so you show up to Disney World, right? And you're like, hey, now this is closed now, but like, there's this show in the Tree of Life about Bug's life. I'm going to bring my 4-year-old in there. And then all of a sudden there's a spider dropping from the ceiling and your 4-year-old's freaking out, right? So like, not researching enough, like you need to understand what you're getting yourself into. It's Cali River Rapids. It's a water ride, but I'm sure they wouldn't get me that wet. No, they get you that wet.
Don't do that under a waterfall.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, the backside of water. This is like straight up. You are going to walk out of that ride completely drenched and not want to be anywhere near the parks the rest of the day. So not researching enough, not knowing the map, not knowing like all those things that you and I take for granted that we just know. We know, for instance, that like, okay, if I'm not there for early morning rope drop, I probably should go left for rope drop in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
We know that. We know that if I'm not there for early entry, like going to the left is the way to go, because everybody else is in Tomorrowland. But if you don't research and you don't know it, you might go, I'm going to go to Tomorrowland, or I'm going to go to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. No, you're not. No, you're not. Go left and go to Pirates, go to Haunted Mansion, go that side of the park. But if you don't know, if you haven't done research, if you haven't watched shows like us, if you haven't watched shows like Ear Scouts, if you haven't watched, DFB, Disney Food Blog, if you haven't watched All Ears, if you haven't watched those people, you might not know like these little things. It also goes for like the people who come back and say, I didn't realize that my hotel didn't have like 2 beds. So like you let's say you rent DVC just because it's cheaper, and you don't realize that like it's not 2 queens, it's a queen and then a Murphy bed. Right. Well, that Murphy bed's nowadays is plenty comfortable, but if you were back in the day when I first went, before the Murphy beds and they were just the pull-out couches, not comfortable, not at all, right? Or
if you have 2 big teenagers like I do, they wouldn't fit.
Like, so Disney's weird. Some of the hotels have 3 sleep surfaces. Some of the hotels have 2. So it's weird. Like, and they're all the same room category, especially for DVC. DVC is the weirder one, but like,
It is.
like not researching, not paying attention to where you're at. People are like, oh, I can't wait to go. Like, I'm really excited. This will actually come up later in my list, but like, I'm going to Disney. Oh, cool. Where are you staying? I'm staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge. I really like Animal Kingdom. I can't wait to be at Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Right.
And it's
To
like,
be continued. I know what you're
yeah,
getting at
I mean,
here.
I'll talk.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll talk about it later, but
Yep.
you should have done some research, bud. Like, you just really should have. Or like, I really like Disney Springs, so I'm staying over at Saratoga so I can walk. Well, if you didn't do research and you didn't request Congress Park, you might be not walking. I mean, you could
You're
walk,
exactly right. Yes, that is the
You know
one
what I
that's
mean?
on the
Like, if
far
you're not in
right
Congress-
side that loops around. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
You're right.
Or like, oh, I'm staying in the tree houses. Like, if you stay in the tree houses and you're planning to go
Walking
to
is
walk
tough.
to Disney Springs,
Yeah, it's tough.
yeah, not happening. So researching is my number 4. What do you got for number 3?
My number 3 is a quick one, unless
Okay.
you want to add on to this one at all. But one of the things that I think first-time vacationers, they'll say, okay, we'll rent a car and we'll drive around, but there's hidden costs to that. It sounds like you're
everywhere.
just right. It sounds like you're just renting a car, but there's all these little hidden things, and we just experienced this. And I know that they were coming, but it's always a surprise to me. And one of those is parking. And you have to park at all the parks, especially if you're driving in with your family. You get hit with a giant cost right at the beginning. I think it's $35 now to park, which shockingly is cheaper than it is at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo, because you and I talked about that at one point.
Yeah, I paid $80 at the game we went to.
That's the most I've ever heard of.
Yeah. And that was actually when I pulled in, I said something to the guy next to me and he goes, oh, they only charge you 80? I was like, yeah, why? He goes, well, I had Canadian, so they charged me 100. And I was like, because I was sandwiched between 2 people from Canada, and the guy was like, yeah, I tried to give him $80 and he was upset with me because it was $80 Canadian, so I had to give him 100. So
okay,
that's a steep exchange rate if you don't know.
It is. Yes, it is. It's not that bad.
No, it's not. It's not.
The only other thing connected to that with car rental too is the tolls in Sun Pass.
My gosh.
So
Yeah.
that's pretty hefty amount of money too. So
Yeah.
my number 3, and again, I said it was a short one. It's those surprise costs that are built in and a lot of different things, but specifically in this one, it has to do with if you're going to be doing any kind of car rental. So that's my number 3. What do you have?
I agree with you. I think that the other thing to keep in mind is that there's hidden costs everywhere. So like, gone are the days of the free Magical Express, for instance.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're gonna have to pay to get to the park or get to your resort. There's just a lot of things that you want to budget for. So it's not just if you rent a car. Even if you don't rent a car, there's gonna be some hidden things that you weren't thinking of that end up costing you money. So I agree with you. That's a good one, actually. That's a very good one. My number 3 is underestimating the amount of time it takes. So in the last one, I said not researching enough, and I talked about Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Animal Kingdom Lodge, yeah.
So, like, if you think that you are going to have a dinner, let's say at let's use the Animal Kingdom Lodge. Okay, I got a reservation
away.
Yeah, well, I got a reservation at Yak and Yeti, right at Animal Kingdom, and I'm staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and the reservation's at 5 p.m. So I'm going to go down to the buses for a 4 p.m. bus pickup. You might not make, in fact, you probably won't make your reservation.
Right.
Like, understanding.
People are thinking, why? What are you talking about?
Well, like,
it's true.
So the bus might, first of all, you might get down there, and the bus is 20 minutes away. Then the bus takes 30 minutes to take you from Animal Kingdom Lodge to Animal Kingdom. Then you've got to walk in, tap in, hope there's no line, get in.
Yep.
Like, all these things add up.
They do.
I would say you should build in 2 hours. If you're at the resort, you should assume that you should leave 2 hours before any reservation at a park. And possibly that same amount of time if you're going to like another resort. But resorts are different. Like I'm saying, like, if you're staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge and you plan on eating at something Le Cellier in Epcot, you definitely need 2 hours. So underestimating time is a big one. And I don't just mean restaurants. Like, think about like I almost just did it, fast pass, lightning lane.
Okay. You've
But
proven our
like,
point.
yeah, lightning lane, right? You have these, you've logged in, you're 7 days early or 3 days early, depending on where you're staying, and you've booked your 3 lightning lanes, and your return time is at, I don't know, let's say it's 11 a.m.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I get to sleep in today. And so you sleep in and you're leaving your resort at 10 a.m. You might not make that hour window. Like, you literally might not. Now, Disney understands, and Disney says they only give you 15 minutes on the back end. They really give you more. Again, go check out Ear Scouts for a little bit more information.
Yep.
But it's, man, I'm telling you, and I did it. This was me. Not like, you don't realize how big the property is, A, and B, you don't realize that even though there's a lot of good transportation doesn't necessarily run constantly. This is not an omnimover unless you're staying on the Skyliner. You know what I mean? Like, it's underestimating time. And even in the parks, it's just, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, but underestimating time is a big one. That's my number 3, is not paying attention, not understanding how much time it takes to get from point A to point B.
What's your quote that you always tell your soccer players about being on time? I think this is appropriate right now, this quote.
If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, don't bother showing up.
There you go. See, I think this applies. It's perfect. Yeah. I love that.
Right now, quote. If there's any of my any alumni listening are like triggered right now, they're like, whoa.
No, they're using that for the rest of their lives. You're setting them up.
Some of them are. Some of them do. They're like, I show up till early to everything now. I was like, good. Yeah. You should be.
All right. My number 2 first timer mistake here is making the mistake. I don't know if you call it, I just made the mistake, is going at the peak time where it's mega crowded, which I did, but like, I know that I went at the peak time and I was okay with it. And you kind of ebb and flow based on what happens. But if you have flexibility with when you can go, and I know that could change based on your job or your children or anything like that. One of the goofs is just saying, oh, I think it'd be great at Christmas time. We'll go at Christmas time. And then you can do a quarter of what you wanted to do. But again, we went there knowing that was going to be the case and knowing we wouldn't be able to do anything. That's fine. But I think one of the mistakes is people just booking it regardless of knowing how busy it's going to be and how difficult it's going to be to do everything that you want to do. So do your research. Again, find out when the best times are, when the park's not super busy. The time that we usually go, Nick and I will go through the summer months, especially in August when a lot of the southern schools go back. It becomes much less crowded. It's mega hot, but you can do a lot more. So you kind of have to weigh those things and find out those times of years. There are a lot of good websites, more than just one definite one. There's a bunch of places that have these different crowd calendars, which are for the most part pretty accurate because perennially it tends to stay pretty consistent when the parks are really busy and when they're not. And I know there's an app that you use that I'll have you jump in here quickly, and we're not sponsored by any of these people, but I know that you use this on a regular basis. You want to talk about the app?
Yeah, so I use the Lines app. It's called Lines, but it's through Touring Plans.
Great company.
Theirs is it's a great app. Like, if you're a member of, it's a nominal cost per year, but basically they can send room requests for you. They can do a whole bunch of stuff for you. You got views from my room, all those kinds of things. But the Lines app, in fact, we were at dinner last night. We went out to dinner and we were to celebrate. My daughter played in the all county concert, and so cool. we went out to dinner to celebrate. And at dinner, my wife pulls up and she's like, "Why is it a level 9 at Animal Kingdom?" I was like, "Well, it's based off of wait times." So we scroll through, and the wait times weren't high. Like, they weren't high to me.
Except for one.
No, they were all under an hour. Even the one that you're thinking.
Really?
Yes, it was under an hour.
Doesn't it close today? Dinosaur?
Oh, that one. Sorry, my bad. You're
okay.
Right.
I meant my thought
That
was
was
is because I
110.
think
That one was 100. You're right. That one was
okay,
110 minutes. You are correct.
but that
So
makes sense.
I thought you meant Flight of Passage. I thought you meant Flight of
No, but
Passage.
no, but your wife is absolutely right.
So
If
the average went up. So that's why
right,
it was a 9. Yep.
that's crazy. I mean, I
Yeah.
totally get it. And if I didn't know that information, just being a Disney nut and looking at social media, knowing that
Mhm.
Dinosaur is, it's the joke is the ride used to be called Countdown to Extinction, which is actually a Megadeth song, which is weird too. But that was the original name of the ride, and that's what's happening right now is the countdown to the extinction of the dinosaur ride. So I love
Yeah.
that comparison. But that makes sense. You look and why is it a 9? It's
Yep.
yeah, great conversation.
But not paying attention to those crowd calendars, right? Like,
Yeah.
and
No, that's you should.
the title of the show today is about like mistakes first timers make.
Mhm.
So like you knew going in that Christmas is just a silly time to go,
Yeah.
and you knew you weren't going to get everything done. But if you went and that was your one time deal, like you're out of luck. I'm sorry. Like I've had friends who say like, I don't understand why you like Disney so much. When did you go? Spring break? Oh, okay. Well, guess what? That's on you. You should have went in
Mhm.
the summer.
Yeah.
Well, it's too hot in the summer. Well, it's not. First of all, once you get to
Right.
80, it's all hot. So
Mhm.
like spring break and summer isn't really that much different. I'm sorry. People who say it's so hot in August. No, it's no different than the rest of the time. Once it's hot, it's hot. But yeah.
At Christmas, the decorations are worth it. It's beautiful, even though it's crowded. Our main reason, it sounds like I'm defending myself, but I'm not. My main reason for going was spending Christmas, even though it was the day after Christmas, with my Florida family, and we do something special for New Year's. My uncle has this whole thing that he likes to do, and it's great. So, I mean, you go when you can go. You just have to, know what's coming. So,
Yeah,
okay,
exactly. So
yeah,
my number 2 is over planning. This is a mistake that first timers always make. We've made it even as veteran people, but I definitely made it my
yeah,
first time.
yeah,
Thinking you can get everything done. You just can't. Okay. Like it's okay that you're not going to do everything because you're not going to. Don't over plan because you're going to make your life and your family's life miserable while you're there.
yep,
I'm not saying don't plan. You should definitely plan because I think a flip side of this is under planning, but like over planning is the bigger mistake because under planning, at least you can still do stuff. Over planning, you get mad that you didn't get to do stuff. And for
yeah,
me, that's one of the reasons why I love DVC so much is because like I know I'm going to be back, and so I know I'm going to be able to do that stuff again.
yeah,
I think that over planning, like I mean, I do it no matter where I go. Like we went to Hawaii this summer, and it's like we had all these plans to do this and this and this. We didn't do it, you know. But at the same time, like it's not the same as an amusement park. You tell your kids, we're gonna go on this ride and this ride and this ride and this ride. And then you get on 2 of those 4. Well, guess what? Now they're upset.
yeah,
So I think over planning is a big one. I know that you've probably done it and we've all done it, but over
yeah.
planning is, I think, the biggest mistake that first timers make. One of the biggest mistakes.
Well, I had this conversation yesterday. We went to Pizza Wizard, which is a awesome restaurant in Rochester. I know we do shout outs, but
Shout out to
good.
Brian.
Well, he's a listener of the show. And I was talking with Brian about this, and I said, we go every year. And since you go every year, if you miss out on doing a ride, you're coming back, and that way your kid is not as sad. Sure, your kid can be sad in the moment. Sorry, we can't do Mine Train. It's almost time to go, and the line is, an hour and a half or something. We'll come back again next year, and then the kid feels a little bit better too. So
Yeah.
my advice back to what you said is tell your kids 2 or 3 things we're going to do. And you
Yep.
should, given how busy it is, even if it's one of the busiest days, you can probably do those 2 or 3 things during the day. And then the kids have a specific goal, unless the ride is down, but that's neither here nor there. But
I'm pretty sure Brian revoked my pool privileges. Was it that Brian? I'm trying to remember. We have so many Brians who are patrons,
we do.
and 2 of them are friends, and I can't remember which Brian revoked my pool privileges.
Pizza
Pretty sure it's
Wizard Brian
I'm
is
pretty
the
sure it was
one that loves a beach club, and that
Yes,
he wants
so
to
he
stay at
revoked-
beach club,
So
loves
he
that
revoked.
pool.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
the one who revoked
that's
my
him.
pool privileges because I called it overrated. He was like, Nick, your
He-
pool. He made a comment. It was like your pool privileges are revoked. I was like, oh, whatever. like, if they're revoked over at the place where I got to leave property to go on a
Yeah.
slide, I guess I'll be okay with it.
He's got the
Um,
best sense of humor. That
he
place is,
does. He's
my gosh,
dude,
they're so funny.
follow Pizza Wizard on Instagram, even if you're not in the local, because they are hilarious.
Oh my gosh. All right. My number one could be 10 different items on a list that I'm sort of compressing into one. And that is a mistake first timers make is not being prepared for the weather. And
Hey,
multiple,
what do you know? My number
you
one
too?
is
Yep.
not being prepared for the weather.
So I won't say all of them. I don't want to crush what you were going to say here, but
No,
you know
go
what?
ahead.
I'll do this. I
Crush
will
them all.
go. I will go the rain route because I've made this mistake before, so I'll talk about that. You can talk about sun. So not bringing raincoats, ponchos, and even like a change of shoes. So one time when we got stuck in the rain, my poor son, his shoes were so soggy and he got blisters on his feet. We looked everywhere for Crocs at that particular time for him to change into. We couldn't find them in his size. The poor kid had to wear these wet shoes for the day, and we ended up, this is not the first time we've done at this park, throwing out shoes, which I have done multiple times wearing the wrong footwear. So what we do is we, in our backpack, we roll up ponchos or raincoats, we put them in there, and then we have backup either flip-flops or Crocs or something light that you can change into those shoes and then change back into your regular sneakers. But some people wear Crocs all day long. Some, mostly some adults, but a lot of kids will wear it all day, and it doesn't really bother their feet too much. It's a nice light shoe, and I've worn them at the parks really only when it's raining. Otherwise, I need to have a good, like almost like a running shoe. There's a lot of different brands I would recommend, but I will wear the Crocs from time to time. So that's just preparing for the weather, and I won't get into the cold. That's like this much of the time, and we were ready for that too when we went over Christmas time. But what do you recommend for preparing for the heat and the super bright sun?
Well, like, you said it ruined the day because your son had wet shoes. If you get sunburned, it will ruin your trip.
The
Not
whole
day.
trip.
It'll
Yeah.
ruin your whole trip. You can't put
Oh
any
yeah.
clothes on that hurt. Like you pull down the harness for a roller coaster and it hurts.
Yep.
So for me, it's also not just the rain. You know, that's a thing. But the sun, you got to bring like top notch sunscreen. And to be fair, know what sunscreen works for you. Like for me, some sunscreens like they just don't work well, or like some of them dry my skin out. So like I have a particular one I like to use. I wasn't able to use it in Hawaii because it's not reef safe. And so like I had to use a different one. But like
I forgot about
when
that.
I'm in when I'm in Disney, if it's like, yeah, you got to use reef safe, or you should use reef safe stuff. So like for me, that was a big, or that is a big thing, is like sunscreen, especially as two bald guys, we can attest to that. So
Yep.
like bringing a hat,
Always.
the type of clothes you wear in the north, it's a different kind of heat too, by the way. And you're in the Northeast. Oh, it's hot. It's 85 out. Yeah. Well, 85 here and 85 in Florida.
Yeah.
Two different kinds of 85. And I would also add, just to piggyback on the rain thing, is like, if you're prepared, it's going to help you because you can stay in the park. And there's nothing better than at 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, it starts raining and people are like, with all their little kids, are like, let's get out of here. We're going to go back to the hotel. And all of a sudden,
Yep.
after the rain ends, you're like, there's
Wow.
nobody here. This is especially true at Animal Kingdom.
Yep.
Because the park closes so early that like when that afternoon rain hits, there's only 2 hours left of the park. So like people are gone. So I would say like that's the other thing about rain, is that if you're prepared for it, if you've done your research and understood about the weather, then you're gonna stay longer and stay through it. And that's where you're gonna get your bang for your buck, especially at those parks like Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom. It's not quite the same at Epcot, which is a locals park, really, and Magic Kingdom, which is open till, all hours of the day, basically.
It is.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, but sunscreen, understanding the heat, like all that stuff is super important.
If you're wearing a cotton t-shirt, bring a backup shirt, especially in the summer. You know,
Yeah.
if you're a sweaty guy like I am, or you have
Yeah.
teenagers, bring a backup. I recommend, the shirt I'm wearing now is really light and stretchy. It's sort of like those Under Armour dry fit shirts are really good for kids because even if you get a little wet, it's, it'll dry really quickly. But if you're wearing a cotton shirt and you're sweaty, it just gets really heavy and gross. So, which I like to wear cotton shirts too, and I'll bring a backup. And like when you and I went midday, it would be like, okay, time to
Yeah.
change. We'd take a
I brought
break and
two. Yeah, I brought two like I typically bring like two Star Wars shirts to Hollywood
me too.
Studios, and then like
Yeah.
at about noon or maybe 1 in the afternoon, it's like, okay,
Yep.
Star Wars shirt one is done,
Yep.
and then you obviously feel refreshed and whatnot. But yeah,
Yeah.
100%, I agree with you.
Yeah, so that's really it for me, and there's so much more that we can talk about with these. And if you look at number 1 with weather prep, I mean, these could be all we have so many stories like, weather prep or like honorable mention. Nick laughs at me for this, and I totally deserve it. Wearing the wrong footwear. There's a story we've told on the show many times where I wore these giant, bulky Jordan high tops, and I immediately started getting blisters, which I
Yeah.
had to get rid of them because we brought these tiny carry-ons when we went out to Disneyland. So I had to buy a new pair of shoes. It was just a dumb mistake. So anyway, make sure you prepare for that too. I don't have a ton of honorable mentions. I don't know if you do.
No,
I
I
had
think we did a good
dining
job between the two of
reservations.
us.
It's so much. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's really all I have here.
Yeah. If you have things that you think of that you're like, hey, this is another mistake that first timers make, put it in the comments down below.
Mhm.
Or send us a shout out over on Instagram and let us know like what things you think people do that they
Mhm.
shouldn't do on their first time. Or maybe it's not even a first time mistake. Maybe it's these are the repeat mistakes that people make because we also make those repeat mistakes. So let us know down in the comments. Visit
Yep.
us over on Instagram, on TikTok. If you're over on YouTube, give us a like and subscribe. Visit us over on Patreon, patreon.com/dizzlesspod. But it's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow's just a list away.
Tune in next time, and we'll see you real soon.